Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? Y'all know Bugs. Uh, this is a second part in a series of videos we're going to be doing when it comes to the agenda of the trans nature. Let's call it that. Uh, Many of us grew up watching Bugs, grew up watching Tom and Jerry, grew up watching Yosemite Sam, you name it, any cartoon. You may have thought to yourself, they were hilarious. Kids today don't understand the kind of funny this was. Man, if you only knew, you'd understand how funny Bugs Bunny was. Y'all remember, though, that Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, all of these guys did one thing important, very one thing. They all cross-dressed. They all gave kids, us, and for those who are of weaker minds, the idea that it was okay or funny to do so that later on, if you stayed on that path, it would become something that you would accept as part of culture. What do we have today? We have men been wanting to be women, men dressed as women in front of kids. Where did they get the idea that that was okay? Now, remember, most of these men are our age or older. Where did they get the idea that that was okay? I present to you Bugs. This is what a one off. That's just one episode. Other episode, Little Bo Peep. How many men have you seen dressed like that? Then this one, he took his hand off, and what do you find? A bra. You go forward again. What do you find? A person in a little fruit basket outfit, right? Look at that. Dress again. Another one again. Asian outfit. Kissy, kissy face. You can go on and on with this. Mermaid. We'll do one more. And this one, they actually made out with the dog. And of course, the Can girls and Elmer Fudd's all enamored, turned into a wolf. And who is up there but Bugs Bunny himself, showing his rump to the crowd in a tutu or a can dress for Elmer to whistle at. The Barber of Seville, if you remember that. Remember that one when he poured hair growth, but it was actually, grass grower on his head, and they eventually at the end of it get married. Again, even the Figaro one, same thing, get married. How many times did you see Bugs Bunny kiss Elmer Fudd right on the mouth? It was pervasive. Daffy Duck did the same thing. When you look at your history as a child, what do you realize? You realize that maybe, just maybe, you were in a zone where you might have thought this was all innocent. The people creating it, however, knew it wasn't. And if their success rate was 1 in 60, better yet, let's say it was 1 in 150. That's a successful rate, by the way. 1 in every 150 men not only accepted this particular thing as normal, but went on to do it to somebody else. 1 in every 150, let's just say that, and to me, that's a pretty high number. 150. Every 10 years, another 1 in 150. Another 10 years, 1 in 150. By the time that person reaches its 40-year-old mark, there are 4 more behind him coming up. Now multiply that by millions. You see the problem? And we want to know why it is that we have the culture we have today, where there are some that are, if they're not doing it, they're okay with it. And if there are those who are not okay with it, they realize that's just not my problem. This is why. We, as a culture growing up back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, were bamboozled into thinking this was par for the course, normal stuff, hilarious, laugh all you want, be happy. But it wasn't. It wasn't good. This was a problem, and we did not see it coming. But now we do. And we want to raise the awareness bells for people out there who may be bamboozled like we were. We want to give you a chance to wake up out of your stupor so that you don't pass this nonsense on to the next. And if it does still be existing in your world, that you can educate your child into telling them, no, that's not normal. This is not normal, nor should you consider it normal. Erase this idea from your mind and never put it back there. Again, this is for educational purposes only. Each has to make a decision in their own minds what they're going to do with this. But like I said, the reason we're in a position we are now where it's pervasive is because this went on without our checking it. It happened before this without our checking it. It happened in the black and white era of cartoons without us checking it. The people that are behind this have the agenda, and they know how to give it to us in a way that we will take it. It is up to us to open our minds to what is real, what is wrong, and what is right. We're just here to help you. But if you don't want the help, that's completely fine, to each his own. But for those of us who have little ones coming up, please be aware that we had ours to deal with as well. So please don't just point the finger and say, it's this current generation. No, it was ours too. It was ours. We allowed it to get to this point by our generation not doing something. But now that you know, according to G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle.